Well, how did you come across the story of the Honduran lobster divers, and what made you decide to craft a horror story around them?
That's a great question. About 16 years ago, I was in Honduras shooting a documentary about Mayans that lived in remote regions of Honduras, and a medic who helped give them medical attention. And I heard about the lobster divers and the exploitation that was happening with them. And someone asked me to do a documentary on them, and I was just finishing a very long documentary on the Mayans. And I said, "Oh no, that's I'm tired. I think that'll take too long." And that night, I had a dream that we were on a boat going to Roatan, and the boat started sinking, and these divers that were missing at sea started coming up from the sea and climbing on the boat. And I said, "You know what? Maybe we can get more of an audience if we do a horror movie and bring more awareness to these divers in a very different way." In a different way, because if you do a documentary, only so many people will watch it. This way, you entertain people that might not usually watch the documentary, but you also bring about the idea of what is happening to these lobster divers. And I was there recently in Roatan and talked to the doctor, and he told me there's over 6,000 native divers just in Honduras that have some sort of affliction from the bends from the diving sickness. Is that good?
Okay, and
Okay.
the film mentions a myth suggesting that nature takes revenge on those who abuse it. Does that myth actually exist in the movie?
Does what exist?
Yes. And well, what is your inspiration for this myth? The myth is real.
The meat?
The myth, the myth that mentions in the film, that myth that you suggesting that nature takes revenge
Right.
on those who abuse it.
Um, the idea was to make it seem that the divers were bad, but if you watch the movie, they never really do any harm. It's more of the marine crew and the fear that they have that causes most of the damage. So I wanted it to be a little bit of a twist in that nature, we upped it a little to for the horror aspect. So it's not so much maybe a curse, even though it's the it's called Curse of the Shark, or Ghost Divers, but that maybe not revenge, but nature finds a way to get things right. I guess I would say, you know, nature should win in the end. Nature should win. Not always, but in the end, the earth will always be here. People won't.
Okay, and about the characters, one of the most striking characters is Captain Harwood. How did you develop him?
So that's funny. So I looked everywhere for an actor to play that role. And I went everywhere, Los Angeles, Miami, Key West, for the Hemingway Festival that looked like ship captains. And finally, someone told me about a real shark diver and photographer, cinematographer, that swims outside of the cage with great white sharks. And that's how I found Mike Bolton, who plays the captain. Um, and he had never acted before. And so we talked on the phone and we just developed the character. And I was very lucky to get him to be involved because he actually swims with great white sharks.
That's great, and very dangerous, but great.
Yeah.
Well, also about Harwood, for a moment, is he something of an echo of the Rouge archetypes found in classic films like Sam Quint in Jaws?
Um,
Exist an inspirations, maybe?
oh, Quint and Jaws is definitely an inspiration. Jaws is uh, the best shark movie ever, sure. Um, we wanted someone that felt big like Quint. We would never compare him to Quint and Jaws. You can't compare it to Jaws. But I think he feels real. Captain Harwood feels real. I hope to the audiences he feels real, and that he is a mysterious character that feels bigger, larger than life.
Okay, and well, the story doesn't just focus on the lobster divers, it also carries a message of advocacy and even aims to help them by dedicating a portion on the profits to their support. Was what your decision, and how difficult was it to get that idea off the ground?
To support the divers.
Yes.
Yeah. So because the whole movie stemmed from that idea, um, and as we are just launching, we just launched on Amazon Prime in the U.S. and we'll soon be launching the film in Latin America and Mexico, which is great, and other countries. Um, is that hopefully we do very well and we're able to put some profit. If not, I will do so personally to help the divers. I've gone down there and talked to the doctors. I love Honduras. I love all of Central America, Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Panama, and we want to do something to help them. My understanding is that in I can't remember the name. One second. Puerto Limpira is one of the main areas. I believe I was told by the doctor that they lost their decompression chamber there. So we have ideas of possibly hopefully to help get another chamber there. To my understanding, there's only one in Roatan, which I visited several times and talked to the doctors there. Um, and we know it's still ongoing. So yes, to just do a film to do entertainment for our team wasn't enough. If you're going to spend that much time and effort and stress to do a film, and there was a lot of stress in this film, you want to do it for a good reason and to help, hopefully help some of these divers and help the future of the divers, as well as promote shark conservation and ocean conservation and bring awareness to these things.
Okay, and well, finally, when the film begins, it seems like just another horror movie with sharks, but that comes the supernatural twist, and we discovered that the real threat is our own wrongdoing. Is that the message you want the audience to take away from the film?
I hope that the message isn't completely clear, it's ambiguous so that people come up with their own conclusion. But overall, yes, it would be nice that people look at it and say, oh, maybe the people on the boat aren't really necessarily the good guys. They're not bad, maybe some of them, but look what happened here. We thought that these divers were these terrible monsters or something. And in the end, like our character Liz says, maybe they're just coming to the boat asking for help, and that's the idea, is that it's maybe not completely clear. And maybe that's a good thing, that the audiences will take away different things but overall, hopefully, um, care about the plight of the divers and have more interest in marine biology overall.